A very good evening to all of you. I hope I'm audible to you. Can anyone please acknowledge back if I'm audible or not? Okay,
Yes, sir, you are.
thanks for the acknowledgement. So I would like to welcome you all to our webinar on the behalf of our team Hexenbit. I hope you all are going to learn something new today. We'll just wait in for a minute or two and then we will start our session, okay? So let everyone join in and then we'll be starting up with it. Okay, guys, so let's start the session now. So guys, today we'll be learning about how we can design a GUI in Python with the help of Kinter module. So first of all, I would be asking some of the questions to try to answer those questions as best of your knowledge, right? So first question is, what is GUI? Anyone knows what is GUI? Any idea to
The
anyone?
graphic user interface.
Graphic user interface. Okay, very good. So why do we need a GUI? In general, like in regular day-to-day life, why do we need a GUI?
User
Or
can
how
interact
can it be
easily.
useful for us? Charan, can you repeat it again?
Sir, the user can interact with the website easily.
Okay, the user can interact with the system easily. Anything else? Anyone wants to add up why we need a GUI or how GUI is helpful for us? Any idea to anyone? Okay, guys, so I'll give you a brief about this. First of all, as one of you said that like GUI is graphical user interface. So we'll discuss some points in relevance to it, how we can design a GUI and what could be the useful things for it. Right. So the agenda for today is first we are going to discuss about introduction of GUI. Then we will discuss about how we can design a GUI using Kinter in Python. Right. Kinter is a module. We will learn some fundamentals about it. And after that, we will be designing our project that is a weather update application. So in that, we will be designing our GUI as well as we will be creating the code for it, right? So let's start it. So first, introduction of GUI. So as one of you said that a GUI is a form of a user interface that allows user to interact with the system through graphics. So just correlated in a normal life, right? Like most of us are from programming background. So it's very easy for us to execute task over computer system through either through programming or through GUI. But just think of a time, let's say our parents or anyone who is not having a technical background, they have to interact with the system. So they cannot write each and everything in the form of a code. Means just let's think about a simple operation as cut, copy, paste. So if I need to write down some command, like those who are aware of modules in Python, OS module or file handling and all, so they know that we can write down those commands and execute a particular thing. But if the same thing is supposed to be done for a non-technical background person, that's quite difficult, right? So GUI comes to our rescue at that point where we just need some graphics. We will be having some graphics. Those graphics could be buttons, some icons available. We just click over those icons and operation is going to get performed because of the code written underneath it, right? Like for example, the most common example if I take these days is mobile phone. So mobile phone is accessible by everyone, whether you are educated, uneducated, does not matter. But by the help of the icons that are available, individual, like an individual can easily work over that thing, right? By, if we say there is a particular icon for radio, particular icon for gallery. So if you instruct someone with those things, they can easily just access it with the help of moving up to that point. Right. So that is one of the advantages of GUI, or why we need GUI, because it can help us to interact through the system, and it is most useful thing for the non-technical background people. Like one can easily access computer these days, but if we talk about the Linux based systems or something in which for like in the past we need to write down the command for each and everything, so it was a quite hectic task for a normal individual who is not from technical background to do that thing. So that's why we need GUI. Some important features of GUI, like it should be self-explainable. Like for example, we have seen ATM machines, mobile phones. So it is so simple that one can easily go through the icons. Like for transaction and all, for all those things, there are simple icons. Like if I talk about cell phone, so one can simply call in using this cell phone icon, or a radio have their own icons available. One can easily relate it with those things, right? So by looking at the icon, one can understand what will be the working of it. So it should be self-explainable. One can easily understand by looking at the graphics that they are opting in for. Now, when we talk about Python, so in Python, GUI can be designed using different modules. There are many modules which can be used for it. One of them is Kinter, WXPython, PyQt, JPythonV. Other than this, Kiwi is there. So a lot more modules are there which you can use in for designing your GUI. In this session, we are going to work with Kinter. So I'll give you a brief about Kinter, that what is Kinter and how we can start up with it. Not into much details of it, but yes, in terms of how we can start up with those particular things, I'll explain you those particular topics. Right. So we will be starting up with Kinter now. In Kinter, basically, first I'll give you the introduction for it, then Kinter widgets, then Kinter geometry. So Kinter is an interface to the TKGUI toolkit shipped with Python. It's an inbuilt module. One can easily just import this module using import command and can work over it. Kinter is a standard GUI library for Python, provides a fast and easy way to create GUI applications. One can easily create GUI applications with a small snippet of code with the help of it. It provides a powerful object-oriented interface also. You can use in the object-oriented approach in order to create your GUI. Provides a variety of common GUI elements such as buttons, menu, entry field, display areas. So there are different kinds of GUI elements which are provided by it, which you can use in order to interact with the system, right? So we will be going through some of them. The simple steps for creating a GUI is importing the Kinter module, creating the main window for GUI, adding widgets to it, and enter the main event loop. So if we talk about creating a GUI in Python, it is as simple as performing these 4 steps. Right. And out of these 4 steps, this is just a one-liner. This is again a one-liner. But in this, we need to add on some commands in order to customize it. If you want a default screen, it's just one line you need to write down and you will be getting your GUI window. Adding widgets to the app. So this is the main point. Widgets means the elements you are going to add on to your app in order to interact with it. Like for example, if I talk about button, or if I talk about this entry field. So we will be making entry field today, like in which you write down your username and password, that sort of a things, which receives the data from the user. Guys, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Manish Dev, I guess there is some issue at your end in terms of the audio. You may reconnect once again. Right. So coming back to the topic, third point is the main point where you need to take selective widgets which are going to affect your app. Then enter the main event loop is the last part, means you just need to write down the command. Manish, I am not on mute. Everyone is able to hear me. So there is some issue at your end in terms of the audio. So you can just disconnect and reconnect it. Right. So this was the steps that will be related for the GUI. Then after this comes is widgets. So there are a lot of widgets like 19 to 20 widgets are there. But in today's session, I'll just give you a brief about some relevant ones, though we are not going to use all of them in today's session.
Hello, Gagan, you are on mute. You are not audible.
Manish, everyone is able to hear me. There is some issue at your end. That's why you are not able to hear me. I am able to hear your voice. Okay. So in today's session, we are going to use button. We will be using entry and we will be using a label. Right? We will be using these three commands. So button is something through which we can interact. Like if we click over it, something will happen. Canvas is a sort of thing like over which you can draw your own imagination. There are different shapes and functions available which you can use and you can easily draw with Canvas. Check button is basically like creating a checklist. You guys would have seen some checklist over some apps over which anything will be written XYZ, ABC, and you can basically tick those things. Like on Google Notes and all, also there is a checklist option which you can create. Entry is basically the entry fields which is used for accepting the value from the user, or it is also used to display some values sometimes. Depends upon what you are going to do with it. Frame is generally used for alignment and all. Like within a frame, you can add on different widgets to create a group of widgets. Label is something used for displaying a normal text over your GUI. Label can also be used for adding images. So in our application, we will be using label for both the things, for adding image, icon images and all, as well as for adding information to it, right? So we will be doing both the aspects of it in that. Any doubt to anyone till this point? Anyone having any query, any doubt? Okay. So after this, let's get a brief about these widgets. And after that, we are going to move to the coding section of it, right? So I'll be explaining each and every step by step, we are going to do it. Button is our first widget. So this is a kind of a outlook for it. Means you can click on these buttons and it will respond in order to that. So it is used to add various types of buttons in Python application. A method or a function can be associated through button when a button is pressed. So you guys have seen this, like there are something next, back, all these are generally buttons which are created over apps. So when you click over it, some command executes in the background. So the syntax for creating button is you need to create an object of button, main window, comma option. This main window is basically the name of the GUI screen. Whatever name or the object you are going to create for it, that you need to mention here. In options are basically used for doing the formatting, like to change the shape of it a little bit, to add on the padding, dimensions, color, all that thing. So I'll show you what options are available in that also. Like these are the things that are available: active background, active foreground. Active background means when you click the button, the color will change. Active foreground, when you click the button, the color of the text which is appearing over button will change. BD, BG, border and background color. Command. Out of all these operations, this is the main one. This is the main operation that you need to take care of. while working with buttons, because if you don't add a command, then nothing will happen in your with the help of button. Because command is basically when you click this button, then what should happen? That will be written in this command. So in this, you can call another function, you can open a web page, you can move to a new screen, you can fetch the data. So in today's application, we will be clicking this button, and after clicking, it will be fetching information from a website. Then FG, font, height, width, highlight, color, image. We will be adding image also, adding images to the button. Then entry. Entry is, as I told you, used for getting entry fields input from the user. So you can get input, or it can also be used for displaying some data if you want. But most of the applications, we use it for getting input from a user end. Like we take a normal input in Python, but with the help of entry field, we can create a widget. Like here you can see if you are creating a login form or any sort of thing like writing down equations. In today's application, we will be taking an input of a city name from the user. So we will be taking that with the help of entry. Then after this is label. As I told you, it will be used for displaying the normal text over the screen. Could also be used for like this sort of a text will be written over it. Normal screen like name or anything you want to write, that could be used for it. Right. After this comes this tkinter geometry. Now what tkinter geometry is, always remember when we are working with Tkinter, in Tkinter, you will be creating widgets, but to display those widgets over your GUI. Like if this is your GUI screen, if you want your button to appear over it. So for making it appear over the GUI screen, you are supposed to click, you are supposed to use any of these methods in order to display this. So tkinter geometry is important in order to display the widgets. For each and every widget, like let's say these 3 widgets are available over your screen. So for each widget, you need to use one of these methods. And generally we use the same methods for all the widgets that we are going to use over our screen. Path, grid, and place. In our project, we will be using place method, but I'll give you a brief about what these methods are. First one is pack. So pack method is generally used in order to display, like if this is your GUI screen, so it will try to fit the things within a center of the screen in general. Right, center of the screen. So you can say the by default alignment of this will be, if we talk about horizontal alignment, it will be center, and if we talk about vertical, then it will be at the top. So it will try to bundle up the things one after the another in the center of the screen, will try to fit those content. Right, so path can be used for it, and this not much of the things will be used for organizing it and all. The another method that we can use in for displaying the widgets is grid. Grid is used as a form of a row and column combination. Like if you have a GUI screen, depending upon the number of widgets you have with you, you can divide the screen in the form of a row column pattern. Right, so in general, what happens in this is, if you are using 2 widgets, then you can basically have a 2 cross 2, 2 rows, 2 columns sort of a matrix you can create, and you can place widgets in any of these places. The entire screen will be created, divided into 2 cross 2 matrix. Right, then the last one is place. So we will be using place in our today's session. Place generally takes 2 values between X and Y. Place method will take 2 values. It will take X coordinate of your screen and Y coordinate of your screen. And on the basis of the coordinates that you are providing, it will display that particular thing. If you change the coordinate, it will change. There is a bit, what we can say, a shortcoming of this method, that depending upon the screen size, your placement can be changed. Right, means if I am using my laptop at the moment, So if it is a 16 inches laptop, a different view will be there. If you are running it over another screen, let's say a bigger size of a screen, then the placement of that screen will be different. So that is a shortcoming of this, but it is quite useful and we can place the things anywhere we want to do with the help of the coordinates. So we'll be going up with this method. And on the right side, you might be seeing some images. So these are some images of the widgets that are there. Like this is radio button, similar to check button, but in this we can select only one of the items. Like if we have a gender column, male, female, so or others, then out of three we can choose one. Remarks and this the bottom one. So this is sort of entry field, and that one is also entry field. So this was about in terms of the presentation. In terms of this, anyone having any doubt? Anyone having any query that anyone wants to ask?
Sir, could you please explain that last method, sir, place method once again?
That I will explain in this. Only the place option?
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be in this, like during this project also, I will be discussing that part.
Okay, sure.
Anything else anyone wants to ask till now? Okay. So guys, first, now in this session, we are going to do step by step. I'll not be writing down the code, but I will be explaining you each and every step. So I have divided the program in certain steps. I'll be explaining each and everything to you. And by the end of the session, I'm definitely sure that you guys will be able to make this project easily at your end also to replicate it, right? So how to create a GUI screen? If you want to create a GUI screen in Python, how you can do that? So first, let's start with the beginning of it. Let's try to create our screen. My coding file is visible to everyone?
Yes.
So Kinter is the module name. From Kinter, import star. We are importing all the unhidden files and all the entire functions from it in one go. Root equals to TK. So this is the main line where I'm creating my GUI screen. We need to create the object of TK. Right? The moment you write down this line, anything could be there on the left side, whatever name you want. So whatever name you will give to it, that will be the object of TK, and that will be basically the name of your GUI screen. Right? So the moment you write TK, it creates a GUI screen out there. Then these are customizing options. Root.title means I want to give a title to the screen. Like, let me show you. If I run it, you can see this is a by default screen been created. You guys were able to see this small screen pop-up appearing. TK written and all these icons are there. Okay, so this is a by default screen that is going to get appeared. I hope this is visible to everyone. So by writing down these three lines, so I told you there are 4 steps. So this one, the first step, importing, creating the main screen. Second step, in this we have not added any widget yet. And this is the 4th point. So whatever program you are going to write down in terms of GUI will be written within these 2 statements. Right? Now let's customize it. And you need to close the window in order to see the another output. Root.title, we are giving it a name as weather app. By default, the name was TK. Now we are giving it a name as weather app. This is the size of it, 1000 cross 600. Resizable false. Resizable false means I don't want to resize it, means maximize option and all. I am just deleting those options. So I don't need to do that particular part. root.config background equals to green. This command is used in order to give a color to it. If I run it now, you can see a green screen is created. Is it visible to everyone? Can anyone please give an acknowledgement? Okay. So you can change in the colors you want. You can write the hex code, anything you want, any hex code you want for your screen, you can write it down. Let's say orange color. I'm just writing the names of common colors, but if you want to make a, a different combination, you need to write down the hex code for it. So you can change the size also. Now, because I have made it resizable as false, so here you can see I cannot maximize it. So that is the reason resizable is off, right? Then this much code is required for creating your GUI screen. So whenever you want to create your GUI screen, you need to write it this much. After this, now what I'm going to do is I'll be adding a search bar image entry field for searching inputs, right? I hope everyone is clear that what we are going to make in today, right? Let me just pull up the image. Just give me a second. So we will be creating this sort of a GUI, okay? So I will teach you step by step how we are going to make it. In this, the background of the screen is black and rest of the things will be, we are going to add on, right? So one by one, I will step by step do this thing. Okay. So adding search bar image and entry field. So first I am going to add the search bar. Search bar means the location where I am going to add on the input from the user. So how to add that thing? Now that is basically a image that I am using, a background image that is in cyan color. So this much is for creating the screen. Now here you guys may see one more thing, that is plus 250 plus 100. So this is basically a coordinate that I am writing down, which will be shifting the screen whenever it is creating. So in the previous example, when I was running it, it was getting created randomly, sometimes here, sometimes here. The position is not fixed. So this is a fixed position that we are giving, and 250 plus 100 is basically the coordinate we are providing, that from where it should begin in order for that particular thing. Until this point, same points. But now in this, we are adding two more snippets, that is adding a search bar image. Now there are different ways of adding image in Tkinter. There are different ways. You can use TK library, photo TK libraries and all. Photo image using label is one of the options. And through Canvas also you can add on some images in that. So in this, we are going to use this method, photo image. We will be creating the object for photo image. File equals to search icon.png. This is the name of my file. So let me just showcase you. These are the required files for it, right? So these are the source files of it, means I will be using this icon, this one, and all these. So I have edited it according to the theme of my project. You can use in the raw images, you can edit it, the color of it using any image editing tool. And this is a search icon image that I have created, right? One is of bigger size, one is of a small size. So first I will be adding this. And after that, I will be moving in for that particular part. So adding this image, search icon, that is basically I am using this image, adding to it to the top of it. My image label. So I am adding this image with the help of a label. As I told you, label can be used for adding images also. So my image equals to label. In Tkinter, this is the best part of it, that you just need to, whatever widgets you want to add, they have the general we can simply create the objects for it by calling them. Like for example, if you want to create button, you just need to call button, and on the left side you need to give a name to it. Label, you just need to write label and write down the name of it, like that. So search image, photo image, file equals to search icon.png. This photo image is a keyword that we are using in here. This will be fixed. On the left hand side, you can write anything. My image equals to label, image equals to search image. The search image is basically the image where I have stored it. And using photo image, you will generally be using PNG image. Remember this, the format of the image should be PNG. And then my image dot place, x equals to 35, y equals to 40. So I need to display this label, right? And after that, I am adding on the entry field, as I want the users to enter the input. So text field equals to entry. Entry is the widget name, and like if I tell you in this, the widget was label, in this, the widget is entry. Root means the name of the GUI screen, because we have given a name it as root. So that will be written out here. Justify equals to center means we want the cursor to be in center. Width, font, what sort of a font you want. If you want, you can use it. Means in this, all these options are for editing. You don't need to write it. If you don't write it, it will be in the normal by default perception of it. So for FG means foreground, text color. So text color is black. BG equals to, this is a hex code for the color I have written, right? And place dot focus means a cursor will appear in that entry field. So if I run this, this is how it will look like, right? This text field dot focus means I want my focus over this. Like if I rerun it. So now if I click on this GUI screen here, you can see this focus is coming over here. That means you need to fill this entry field. So is this point clear how we can create this much thing? Now in this, what I have done is I have used the image, and over that image, I have overlaid the entry field. So this is a GUI technique I am approaching. This has nothing to do with coding directly. This is just the perception I am creating out here in front of you using a background image, and over that, this entry field is created of same color so that you can perceive it as a normal GUI that is appearing out here, right? Now after this, let's move ahead and add Hexenbit name and weather image. So I'm adding the weather image name. Which point you want to ask again, I'll explain it once again. That I'll show you in this code also. Every time I will be running the previous block also, right? So here you can see the same code is there till this point, entry field, right? So in each block of code, I will explain the previous code is also being written in that particular part. So I am showing you a progressive approach of this project. That step by step how you can make it. Then adding Hexenbit name. This is what we are doing it. Now in this, everywhere we are generally using labels. So label we are using, now label Hexenbit text equals to Hexenbit we are writing. So instead of this, you can write anything. Just remember in this, we are not adding any image. I'm just creating a label, normal text out there. Font and all this for formatting option to match my background. Title.place equals to 650, y is 40. Right, this is a coordinate. Now this coordinates and all are fixed by me in order to get the proper GUI. So if you are changing these sizes, you need to make changes over this point also. Weather image. Now what I am doing is I am adding on a weather image to it. Right, I am adding on the image to it also. So this image is basically this image that I'm talking about. So again, by using label only, photo image file equals to weather PNG, creating the object of label again, which is named as weather.place, x equals to 60, y equals to 230. So this is basically the coordinate of the screen that I am writing down, right? So if I run this now, here you can see this is the difference between the previous and now. In this part, we added this. This is just a normal text. I can write down anything I want here. And this is an image, which is added with the help of label. Right? So we are done with the 4 things. 4 things are added to our project. One is this entry field, name. Instead of hex and bit, you can write anything. Whether I can, instead of this image you want, you can use any other image also. It's a free PNG image I am using out here. Then after that, adding the temperature icon. So now I am adding on a temperature icon over it. Like creating an icon for temperature visibility here. So that will again be a label and an image that I will be adding. So the code for it will remain same till this point, what we have done in the previous block. This is the new code that we are writing in this. That is again adding on a label at a particular place. Root.main loop. So this label is added. Now, this is all about playing with the images, right? I have edited these images in order to come with it. By default, the color of your all these things will appear this gray. The gray that is appearing by default, that will be appearing. So this is a technique that I am using out here of creating a perception for you in terms of GUI that you guys can learn with experience, because here you can see the image. The background of this image is black. So this is a technique. If I don't add a black background, this may add on as a gray. This will be black. But when you will be added into the GUI, so the surrounding of this may not be black. It will appear gray. So that's why we need to do that particular part. Right? So this is how you can add on the temperature icon to it. If I just change the background of it, like here you can see, I have written background equals to black. Let me just remove it. I'm removing this. Now you can see a white boundary is there over across it, right? This white color, this is by default, you cannot remove it. So you need to set background equals to black in order to blend this image with the background. Right? So I will be blending the background here. Similarly, we will be adding 4 more icons out here in this location. One will be for humidity. Sorry, one will be for humidity. One will be for wind speed. Another one will be for your atmospheric pressure. So let's move on to that part, adding other icons. Code remains same. These are the labels that I am adding for that. Right, so nothing much to understand in this particular part, just a repetition of the things. So 4 labels are added. Now our basic GUI is ready. I can write anything here, but I cannot search. I don't have a search option yet. I can write down anything. Right, our basic Outlook is ready. Now what we are going to do is we are going to give the names to those icons, that what those values will be representing. So for that, the code will remain same till this point. After this, this is the new code that we are adding to it. Labels. So label 1 equals to label root. Every time you will be writing the root here because we are only working over one screen, one GUI screen. Text equals to temperature, font equals to Oswald 15 bold, just formatting options. Foreground equals to cyan color and background equals to black. So adding on all the labels, and this coordinates of this must match your images. Like here you can see temperature is 450, 180, 430, 260. I am adding it on. So that needs to be a relevant coordinate in order to place. Now if I run it, you can see temperature, humidity, wind speed, pressure. Right? Now the next step what we are going to do is we will be adding 3 dots here. Those dots are basically the labels over which your actual value will appear later on. Right, so we will be adding these 3 dots, means we will be creating new labels out here. 4 labels for each value respectively. So for doing that, the starting code will remain same. This is a new part. So in this we are creating D, T, H, W, P. D is used for description. Means what is a common description of weather. T is used for temperature. H is used for humidity. W is used for wind speed. And P is used for atmospheric pressure of that particular place. Root dot main loop. Right, we are adding on these labels, text out here. This much is the new code in this. Now if I run it, you can see 3 dots are added. Right, so these 3 dots are basically the labels over which a new value will appear. So this is the first time when we are creating it, this will appear. Once I write down a city name, it fetches the value. It will not be same like this. It will show the actual values. Now adding time label for displaying time. So in this particular part, we will be adding a time also, means you will enter the location, the city name, and it will fetch the original time of that location also. Right. So for that, we are adding on this label that it's time label. So it is basically what it is appearing in this. Name and clock, 2 labels are being created. And if I run it, in this at the moment, you won't see any difference. Time will appear here. Right. Labels are being created, but we are not setting any values to them. That's why you are not able to see those things. So labels are being created in the background. Now, this was about label and GUI. Now, after this comes is your main programming code. This was the code for creating GUI, but GUI in itself cannot work. We need a background code which will be fetching the values and all, right? So now, first we are going to add on a search button and we will be getting weather function. We will be creating a get weather function. So this is our get weather function. Now what this is doing, I'll explain you a bit. For this, we need these modules. The modules required for this is GeoPy. Module name is GeoPy. So GeoPy is used to get the coordinates and all of a particular location. You can read it from here. GeoPy PYPI, the official document, like the PYPI support of it. What GeoPy is used for, the command for installing it is this. It's an external module. You need to download it externally. So the sample code is given out here. By using this, you can get the coordinates of any location you are trying to enter. So GeoPy is there. Kinter is for a normal part. Time zone finder is another module that we are using. Time zone finder we are using to get the exact timing of that particular place. Then date time is used to make the requirements for it. Import request is used to request to the weather API. In this, we will be using a weather API through which we will be fetching the information. So for that, for raising a HTTP request to a server, we use this import request module in Python. So you can use it in other codes also where you are trying to fetch some information from server through HTTP request. Import PyTZ. PyTZ is a module. You can read about all these from the official documentations of it, PyTZ. This is used for the database time conversion of it. Right, one can simply use it in order to get the timings and all, and time conversions regarding that. So these are the prerequisite that you need. Out of this GeoPy, time zone finder, and PyTZ are the time zone finder and GeoPy are external modules. PyTZ you might need to install, or it might be an internal module. You just need to check once again for that. If not, it is not installed, you can just pip install PyTZ command for it. So we are using get weather. We are creating this function. Just notice this function carefully. Try and except block for for avoiding any sort of errors. Try city equals to text field dot get. So entry field, through entry field, we are getting that value. In Kinter allows us to create some variable classes in this. Like there are inbuilt variable classes in Kinter. I'm not getting into the detail of it at the moment. So using get function, whatever input you want to take from a widget, like either it is a checkbox or if it is a radio button, if it is an entry field. So using this get operation, you can get the values of the widgets, means what was the value fed in those widgets with the help of this get function. So text field was the name given to entry field. City equals to text field dot get, means whatever I have written out here, I'm trying to get it from that. Then geolocator, nominate user agent geo API express. This is a by default format. Location equals to geolocator geocode city. Object equals to time zone finder. We are getting the longitude and latitude of that particular location. And then we are trying to get the timings of that particular part. PyTZ time zone, creating it, getting the time zone from the latitude, longitude, means what is the time zone at that position. And after that, from that, we are fetching in the actual timing. Exception, message box dot show error, weather app invalid entry, means if you are writing down any invalid state or city name, it will show error. So in this, at the moment, we are just printing the time. This is not a weather API yet. This is just about the timing of it, time part in that. This was the get weather function, which you need to add on. And one more thing you need to add on at the bottom is the search button. So by clicking this search button, I will be calling this get weather function. Means the moment I will click on that, it will call this. So search icon equals to photo image, using an image and embedding it into a button. Command equals to get weather. So if I run it, now you can see a search button is created over here, right? If I write down Delhi, if I run it, so you can see current time is 5:53 PM in our country, right? I can write anything else also. Punjab, same timing. Melbourne, (11:23 PM). Texas. So automatically now this module is fetching the information for that timing. Right, but these information is still not available because till now what we have done is we are just fetching the timing of that place. Now next thing we are going to do is fetching the required information of that particular location. Our location is fixed. We are able to do this. Now just notice this, this is a button now. This was not there in previous screens we have created. So on clicking it, you can see something is happening. So in the background, that location is being used. Right? Now after this, the final code, importing all the modules.
Sir, how it shows if we search the wrong city?
That will be added on because of this. This exception block, what we have added now, this message box show error. So let me just rerun it. So it is taking it as, let me just write down anything garbage here. Invalid entry, right?
Yeah, got it.
So if you write down anything wrong, it will show you a pop-up with the help of this message box. Now, the last thing that is supposed to be added to it is just modifying this get weather function. That's all. We are not going to modify anything else. Get weather option, the starting of this function will remain same till this time, like clock and all. This much is the same as previous. Now, this one is the new part. That is API fetching value. So this is an open weather map API. You guys need to create a login over it. Open weather map. Over this, you need to create a login in order to use the things over it. Right? Without creating the login, you will not be able to work over it. Click on API. Current weather data API we are going to use. So what we are doing in here is we are raising a request. So for raising a request over this weather API, how we can do that is there is a API call technique. So APIs are generally built for performing different operations out here. API.openweathermap.org data weather Q equals to city name. So we need to provide the city name here. App ID, API ID basically. This API key will be like with respect to each individual, this will be different. So everyone is going to have their individual private API key, right? Which you can get in by login over this platform. It will provide you free of cost. You can make around 1,000 calls within a particular 1,000 requests per day, accordingly API keys. If you want to have more than that, then you can like pay the subscription for it. So we need to use this command. We will copy this up to Q. Like here you can see city. City, we are fetching the name because of entry field. And this is my API ID. Right, this is my API. So this will be the format of it and API ID. How to get API key? Once you log in over it, click over this API key. It will show you, it will ask you to log in. I will log in into my account. So after this API keys, you can say, this is the API key of my account. So you will get your own API key after this. Just copy it, paste it over here after %. App ID equals to, this will be your API key. This much, that's it. Now this API request will return you. This is the API. So what we are doing is request.get is the command. Means we will move to this API using OpenWeather. And from there, we are trying to fetch in the data. Like in this, we have mentioned the city. So automatically from here, like if I write down anything, Delhi. So this is the current readings from this platform I am showing. The same value, I can fetch it over my app also. So this way, and in this by default, using weather API, it will return the value in JSON format. JSON is one of the formats over which data is available generally over internet. And we can easily read the subsequent particles from it depending upon the elements. So print JSON data, we are printing it means what sort of a data we are getting. And from that, we are fetching the main part, description, temperature. Temperature by default will be given in Kelvin. So we are converting into degrees Celsius. Pressure will be given in standard part, HPA, and humidity will be in percentage, speed will be in meter per second. Right? So this is how we are fetching the values. This is the data. That's it. After that, we need to substitute the values from it into the variables. Like we are extracting those particular parts from that data. And then we are setting the value of labels. Labels we have created T, D, W, H, P in the beginning, right? So we are using config command to set the values of it. So text equals to temp. Temp is basically the temperature we are fetching from there. Degree Celsius, formatting of it. Deconfig condition means this is just a description for that. Wind, meter per second. Units will not be written. You have to write it. Percentage, HPA. That's all. And if you want to see how this data looks like, if I just duplicate it. So in this, at the bottom of this, you can read about it that what sort of a values it will actually give you also, like how this data will look like. Like here you can see parameters that you can provide by city ID and all. All the information you can read more from this API part, that what sort of a data it can provide and how the data will be appearing, like weather fields and API response. So this is how the data will be appearing in JSON format. This sort of a data will be appearing. You will be getting the lat long. You will be getting this. And from here we are substituting, like this is a sort of a dictionary based data. So we are extracting out the informations from it. Like temperature is there, visibility, up to what kilometers you have visibility, wind speed, clouds, there will be clouds, rain or not, all that sort of information, sunrise, sunset of that particular day, you can get in from this. So now if I run it, and rest of the code is same, no other changes, just this much is to be added new. So now if I write down Delhi, you can see 19 degree temperature, humidity 45, 2.06, 1013 is the atmospheric pressure. So here you can see this is printing. If you just uncomment the print part of that JSON data, so it will not print it. Like here I am printing JSON data. So because of that, it is printing this data out here. Right. So this data is similar to like what we are having here. 19 degree temperature, 45 is the humidity, 1013, and visibility is something which I am not printing, but if you want, you can print it. There are a lot of information you can get from this API, so you can do that particular part. Right. Similarly, you can search in for any other part also. We'll give for Melbourne now 9 degree, Norway -9 degree, Manchester, any place, right? So this is how, and this not there. Right, so this is how you can create this application, weather update application. You can add on text to voice in this, text to speech conversion in this. Whatever values you are getting, you can convert it into speech. Like in last session, we have done that part also. In that also we have used this, but we were not creating the GUI in that. So you can look into that, how to read the values and convert it into speech and all that sort of a things, right? So this was the end part that we were supposed to create. Now, anyone having any queries? Help me to check Nigeria weather. Okay. If I just write down Nigeria here. So this is the Nigeria conditions at the moment. So there are different locations from where this API fetches the value. Like if I show you here, Nigeria, or if I write down Lagos and all that. So here you can see Federal Republic of Nigeria, 33-degree temperature. So like this, 33 degree, and humidity is this much, speed or wind speed is this, pressure is this, right? So you can, after this, you just need to write down the city name and it will automatically fetch. You don't need to do anything else. All you need to do for weather API is to add on this URL. After that city, it will fetch from the text input and API ID. This will be unique for you. Rest of the things will remain same. This will be unique for you according to your login ID, right? So with this, it completes the part for what was supposed to be covered up. Anyone having any query, any doubt, anyone having anything anyone wants to ask? Yes, guys, if anyone is having any query, anything they want to ask, they can bring in their questions. Any query from anyone's side? Gaurav, recording will be available over YouTube. You will be getting a mail from our side with the YouTube link. So that will be available over it. I'll just give me a second. Or you guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel also. Over that, you will be getting the information for it. Like if I'll just share my screen. Right, so you can subscribe to our channel, and over this we have already uploaded the other webinar videos and all. This was the previous Python webinar. Those who missed on that, you can watch it out, make a voice assistant, and it is again step-by-step explanation of each and everything. You guys can look into that, right? And those who want to learn something more about the technologies, even Python, web development, full stack web development, PCB designing, electronics, IoT, they can go to our main website and they can explore more about the different profiles they want to develop their career in. So we are offering multiple courses for multiple durations, professional programs, internship programs, self-learning in different domains. So you guys can visit our website, hixandbit.com, to read more info about it, or you can also fill in the inquiry form and one of our teammates will reach out to you and will solve your queries in order to, if you are looking in for enrolling in for a particular course and all, right? Anything else anyone wants to ask? Any doubt anyone is having, any query, anything, or any other doubt anyone is having? Okay, so if there are no queries, then we can close in the session for today. It was great to have you all with us today, and I hope you all have enjoyed this webinar and learned a lot of new things. So with this, I'll be closing the session in for today. We will be like having more webinars in the upcoming year, and we will be posting you the links for that. So I hope you will be joining in for those webinars also, and a feedback form will also float. Kindly fill that feedback form. The more things that you want to listen from us in the form of webinar, the new topics that you would like to hear from us. So we will surely work over that, right? So that's all from my side. I hope you have enjoyed the things. Take care of yourself and keep on learning, and wish you all a very happy new year. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.